Hey guys, welcome to our virtual open house at LHS. I'm your student's APUS government teacher. Just a little bit about myself. This is my 9th year teaching. This is my 3rd year at Lowndes. But for a good portion of my career, I've been teaching this specific course, AP US Government. Honestly, it's my favorite course to teach out of the classes that I do teach. Let me give you a little bit of an overview of this class. I know for most of your students, most of them are freshmen, of course, and so this is their very first experience with an AP course, which is essentially a college course on a high school campus. So it's a little bit different than, your normal honors courses or anything else that your student has probably done up to this point. So I'll give you a little bit of information. This course has 5 units, and that doesn't sound like a lot, but each unit really is jam-packed full of content and full of information that they need to know. I'll give you kind of overview of the units. Right now we're still in Unit 1. Our first unit is Foundations of American Democracy. We talk about whenever we're creating our country, what kind of ideals of democracy did we adopt in things like the Declaration of Independence? In this course, we are required to read 9 foundational documents. Of course, they're a little difficult because most of them are written in the 1700s. So, for example, your students have already read the Declaration of Independence. We've just finished reading the Articles of Confederation, and we're about to start on the U.S. Constitution. So, just in this short amount of time they've been in my class, we're already on the 3rd document of the 9 that we're required to read. So a lot of them do come in this first unit about the foundations of our democracy, how we set up the governing system that we have, why we set it up the way that we did. Our next unit is interactions among branches of government. So that's exactly what it sounds like. We talk about the 3 branches. We go through full detail about the legislative branch and Congress and how it works, the executive branch with the president and all of the departments and how they work, and then the judicial branch with the Supreme Court and how it works. And we do talk about how the 3 branches interact together and sometimes fail to interact together. So it's definitely some real life scenarios, of course, going on in that unit. Our 3rd unit is civil liberties and civil rights. So with this, we're talking a lot about the rights that we have found in the Bill of Rights in the U.S. Constitution. So, most people know their First Amendment rights or their Second Amendment right, but there are many more than that we talk about. And in that unit, we talk a lot about Supreme Court cases. In this class, there are 15 Supreme Court cases your students have to learn about. And in that unit, that's where we are going to learn a lot of those cases. Now, I'll go ahead and give you a little warning here. This is a college class, and we do talk about some things that people tend to get a little passionate about. So, for example, one of the rights that we talk about per College Board, it's a standard that I have to teach, is the right to privacy. And with the right to privacy comes a really controversial Supreme Court case in America, Roe versus Wade, about abortion. The good news is that in this class, we look at everything from an academic point of view. We're not looking at it as, a Democrat or a Republican or an independent. No, we're looking at everything from an academic point of view. And so I think that kind of helps, cool the passions a little bit. But, it's important for, students to develop their opinions and know what they believe, but really to be able to talk about it in a respectful manner and to respect someone who has a different opinion than them. And I think this class does a really good job of hopefully teaching your students that civil discourse that they'll need to live a successful life in the United States, really. So that's a fun unit. In that unit, we also talk about, the civil rights movement, for example. So it's a great unit to really learn about what rights we have in the United States, where they come from, and how they've been protected or sometimes not protected over the years. Our 4th unit is my personal favorite. It's called Political Ideologies and Beliefs. And so in this one, of course, this is where we talk about our major political parties in the United States. And we look at demographics. We look at where people live, what religion they may be a part of, what kind of occupation they have, what kind of education they have, and we look at what's called exit polls. So when you go vote, oftentimes there's like a pollster there who may ask you to do some kind of little survey or poll. And every year when there's elections, every 4 years or 2 years, they put together these polls that kind of show who went and voted and who voted which way. And so in that unit, we get to talk about why certain groups of Americans vote for certain political parties and certain groups of Americans vote for other political parties. And it's just a really cool unit to kind of see that. And in this unit is where students really get to explore their own political beliefs as well. So that's always fun for them. Then our last unit is political participation. So of course we're talking about ways that we can actually participate in politics other than just voting, so there's so many more ways to participate. So, my hope is that at the end of this course, of course I want your students to earn college credit by taking the AP exam, but I want them to be an informed citizen. I want them to have a great understanding of how our government works, how sometimes it doesn't work, how we can always strive to make it better, and how they can really be, an active participant in politics in the United States in a civil manner for sure. And, have those conversations that are uncomfortable sometimes with people in a civil manner. So it's a great course. Hopefully you can tell how much I love it, how passionate I am about it. So like I said, some other things with this course, those are the 5 units that we learn about. Like I said, there are 9 foundational documents students are required to read, and there are 15 Supreme Court cases they're required to learn about. Now, some other things to know. This class ends with an AP exam. So, for most of you, your students have never done this before. So, here's how it works. On May 2nd at 8 a.m. is when our AP exam is this year. Students will come in, they'll be here at school, and they will take AP U.S. Government exam. And how this works, there's basically 2 parts to the exam. The first part is multiple choice. So there's 55 multiple choice questions students will answer. They get 80 minutes to answer it. This counts for 50% of their exam. But these questions aren't just like rote memorization. They are application. What have you learned? How can you apply it to situations you've maybe never heard of before? And so, it does take a lot of practice. It takes a lot of thought to be good at those questions. And we'll do a ton of practice throughout the semester with those types of questions. Now, the second part of the exam, students will get a little break and then they'll come back for part 2. The second part of the exam is what we call free response questions. There are 4 free response questions students have to answer. The first 3 are really just short answer. And then the last one is an essay, an argumentative essay. And that's 50% of the exam. Students have 100 minutes to answer those 4 questions. And those do take a lot of practice. So again, throughout the year, I'm going to teach your students how to write those different types of FRQs, because each FRQ is a little different than the other. You have to know what to look for, how to answer the questions, how to format your response. But at the end of it, students will get their scores back in July is usually when it comes back through the College Board website. And so with that test, students can earn college credit and not have to take an intro to government course when they get to college. So how it works, you earn a 1 through a 5 on the AP exam. A 1 and a 2 is not going to get you college credit. Students across the United States often earn a 2 on AP exams because AP exams are just really difficult. And that's okay. Even those students who do end up earning a 2 and don't get college credit are far better prepared to take this class in college and to do well in college than if they have never taken it. Now, a 3, 4, or 5 score is probably going to get you college credit. I say probably. Let me explain it. If you earn a 5, you're getting college credit no matter what. You're going to Harvard, guess what? Congratulations. You don't have to take this class again in Harvard. You have credit for it. So anywhere is going to accept a 5. A 4, pretty much as well. Your UGAs, your Georgia Techs, any big universities usually going to accept a 4. Maybe not Harvard, maybe not Yale, but your normal universities are going to be happy to accept a 4. Your student will not have to take an introductory to government class in college. Now, a 3 is kind of that iffy zone. If you're planning on going to Valdosta State, 100%, they're going to accept a 3, and your student will have credit and not have to take this course again in college. Other places may not. I'm not sure about, your UGAs or something like that. So a 3 is kind of where you just have to kind of check with the college that your student is planning on going to. But I want you to understand, earning a 3 on an AP exam, especially as a freshman, is a phenomenal thing to do. Most of the time you're going to earn college credit. I've definitely had students in the past who earned a 3 and they never had to take this class again in college, which was great. Obviously we all strive for a 5. That's the hope, that's the goal, but that is really difficult to do. Only a small percentage of students across the world, not just here, but across the world, earn a 5. So I just want you to understand and applaud your student for, taking this risk and taking a really difficult but fun, college course as freshmen and really trying to do well on that AP exam. Now, I always get this question. At the end of this exam, at the end of this class, students get high school credit. So if they make an A, B, or C, they pass this class, they're done, they have their high school government credit, they're moving on to world history next year. So whatever they make on the AP exam does not matter to their score in the class, okay? The AP exam is strictly to see if you can earn college credit and not have to take this class again in college, because that's what this is. This is a college class. Now, some other things about this class. We do a lot of reading in this class. Your students have a textbook. It's a small textbook. It's called an AMSCO textbook that they should be hopefully reading a little bit every night. Every unit has a few chapters that they have to read, and I give them reading guides that are for a grade. So, every night maybe try to read about 5 pages and fill out that portion of the reading guide. It's so important for students to read. There's only so much time in the day and in the class period and in the year or the semester for me to be able to lecture and us do activities and learn how to write the FRQs. So your students have to read to be able to gain some additional information from the textbook about core content that they need to know. And that's not just my class. That is any AP class your student will take here. In any college class, really, when you get to college, that's how it works. You do have to read the textbook. So just know your students will always have some reading to do. Anything else they do at home, maybe, hey, we didn't finish something in class, finish this at home, that kind of thing. I hope that gives you a good overview of the course and of what the AP exam is. So now let's just kind of get back to some housekeeping information. If your student needs extra help, if they've missed some days and they need to make something up, I'm here Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays after school until about 3:45. They can just set up a time with me so I know that they're coming, I know to expect them, so that will work. Tuesdays are out because that's the day we have meetings as teachers. If you need to contact me, the best way is email. So my name is Alyssa Smith. So Alyssa Smith at lowndes.k12.ga.us. That's really the easiest way to contact me if you have a question. Your students do have a Remind that they're a part of, so they can show you the code. It's on their syllabus and on Google Classroom. And of course, feel free to join that just for any updates that I give. But email really is the best way. Now, if your student happens to get quarantined, please make sure they email me as soon as they find out so that I know, and I know when they're coming back. And what happens is I will email your student every day, hey, here's what we did in class, here's what you can find on Google Classroom. And if they are not very sick, then, obviously I want them to try to keep up as much as possible, because if they don't do anything for the 5 days and then come back, it's going to be difficult to kind of catch up, because in 5 days we've covered a lot of information. Now, if they're very sick, of course, we understand. Just have them or have you, reach out to me and tell me, and we'll figure something out, okay? So no big deal on that. Sorry, my lights are motion detected, and so they went off. But anyways, so a couple other things. Let's see. Chromebooks are a thing here at LHS now. Every student has a Chromebook. We use them very frequently in class. So just make sure that they bring them to class charged every single day. So just a reminder, the AP exam is May 2nd at 8 a.m. We also have a final in this class. So the AP exam is not the final. That's to earn college credit. The final is on May 23rd and May 24th, depending on what block your student is in. And for this class, we do a project for the final, since we just took a huge AP exam in early May. So we'll do some sort of project at the end for the final exam. So again, if you have any questions, if you have any concerns, please feel free to reach out to me. And again, I just commend your student for taking this risk and working really hard to take a college course. This is not an easy class. It requires a lot of work and a lot of dedication, but it's definitely worth it for students to hopefully earn that college credit and not have to take this class in college, but even more than that, really become informed and active citizens in the United States. So again, I'm sorry I couldn't meet you in person, but please feel free to reach out to me. I look forward to hearing from you if you have any questions. Thanks.